Hi. I can't.
Welcome.
I don't know why I can't speak.
No, don't speak. I'll speak. Hello and welcome to another episode of The Spark with me, C2, one of your hosts, and our other host, the lovely Jess Debacco.
Jess Debacco, hello. Yes.
We're here for another episode of talking about the universe and everything, mainly self-love. Jess informed me that we did talk about self-love last time, but this is the part 2. Because I think that is could there ever be enough? I think that's the assignment currently. I think that's the assignment for a lot of people. Welcome. Yep. This episode is on the lovely Trident Network. The Trident Network, the 3-pronged digital entertainment network. We do YouTube, we do live shows, and we do podcasts. Please check us out. Follow us on the platforms. We would love to see you. We have a lot of different things, a lot of different stuff. If you're interested in a collective of people creating creations, we would love to have you. We would love to have you as a viewer on the network and possibly even a contributor. If you ever have any ideas, you can reach out. There's a form on our website. If you ever want to put up a show, if you ever want to try something, the Trident Network is into that. Our birthday is in March. Our birthday is in March. I believe it is, let me make sure because I don't want to say the wrong date. Birthday's coming up. It is the 19th is what we're talking about. The Trident Network is having a birthday celebration on the 19th it'd be our second birthday. We've been a network for 2 years. So that's happening on the 19th. Shut up.
I was trying to make an Instagram post in secret.
No! You fucked it up! We're having a birthday on the 19th. Save it in your dates. Save it in your calendars. That's when the birthday is. But welcome, everybody, to The Spark, a show where we talk about the universe and everything. Jess! What were you making? Were you making a secret Instagram post?
Yeah, I was trying. I'm trying to promote and multitask.
Is it?
I must admit, I don't think it's working. I think I fucked it up. I think they're like, just focus on the task at hand.
Come on.
And I'm still not. I'm like, no, I'm gonna force this.
I'm not. What? Wait, you're making. Oh, I see.
I'm just saying right now.
Oh, because we're live right now. I posted in my Discord. I posted to the Discord. We are live right now. That's
live.
There we go.
Live now.
Let them know we're live now.
I'm so embarrassed.
No, you're fine. You're fine. I was talking about the Trident's birthday, which is on the 19th. March 19th. We're having a live stream celebration here, right here. Twitch.tv/Trident Network. Be there or be square. Or, live your life. You can do whatever you want.
I don't know what's happening. I'm ready now. I'm ready to commit, be present, and not be a dick anymore.
And here we are. You're not a dick. You're great.
Thanks, friend.
Here we are. Another episode of The Spark. So we talk about how things happen. Oh dear, the universe is breaking down. No, it's fine. It's perfect alignment always. Mimi Dee! We love Mimi.
Mimi's in the house.
Thank you for being here,
in more ways than one. Here she is on my mug.
Oh, there she is. So we talk about when we're learning lessons, we always get the opportunity to test them out. So you think about what you need to work on, what's coming up, and then the world will give you opportunities to embody the new lessons and the things that you think you need to work on. And go ahead.
No, please. And
I think the challenging thing with self-love is that, so we know self-love. I know love's the sauce, right? Love is like the sauce. That's the answer. That's what we're moving towards. That's what we want. But it's funny that when you're given the opportunity, so then you are put in situations where you are given the opportunity to love yourself. But then it's like it's always going to be a situation where you can choose. I mean, I guess that's with every lesson. You can choose to do the old stuff, old choices where you're not loving yourself, where you're not behaving from a place of loving yourself and self-love. And I have a hard time with that. I've been having a hard time with that, thinking that I'm doing things that are part of self-love, but then looking backwards and being like, oh shit, I was not, and then it comes again, and then you get the lesson again.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so funny how like easy it is to extend grace to other people, and then when it's you, it's like, I know better. And it's so funny because right now I've got like this jumble of thought that I'm just gonna say is a hybrid of wisdom that has been given to me through the following Nish, as always, Nish the fish
Nish
on
the fish.
TikTok. I love him a lot. You, my friend Mars Kelly, my cousin Connor, and more. But how it's like come to me lately is so in life everything is circular. And I think this is a you point where it's all circular and it keeps coming back. And where this becomes Mars Kelly's point is it's circular, but it elevates. And so while it feels like stuff's repeating, the wisdom that you've accrued in the lapse since the last circle, you can't unlearn. Like you can forget it, but you can be reminded of it. Like it's not gone. So you are ascending, whether you feel like you're reverting or going through the same shit, it is different and minutely so. And my friend had pointed out that as you feel like if it feels a little further away, it's because you're looking at it more intensely from a higher bird's eye view, and you're meant to. And so then you look at it and realize, okay, so through life, we go through and stay in our comfort zones, not because we're lazy or cowards. It's just because the misery, and so you just, oh shit, this thing happens, which it repeats. So it's like a trigger that keeps happening in your life. And you go, when this happens, I always turn right and it'll be behind me soon. And I turn right and it's okay. And maybe turning right is, okay, I feel this uncomfortable feeling. I'm going to go eat ice cream and watch a sad rom-com and I'll be fine, but it's not dealing with it. It's like, that's our Band-Aid. We just put Band-Aids and turn right.
Yeah.
And then what I've realized is through a conversation with my cousin Connor is that that's actually for us. And it's actually very gracious because it is pain to go against your baser instincts. It hurts to go, ouch, this thing. Oh, I'm going to turn left. I'm done turning right. I'm going to turn left. I know what's going to happen if I turn right. I have no idea what's going to happen if I turn left. And taking that leap of faith, and then you're going to get it wrong. And you get it wrong, and you get it wrong, and you get it wrong until you feel where right feels. But it's like the point of it repeating is that it's actually gifting you feeling so sick of the discomfort. You're like, I'm so fucking sick of turning right that I finally have the courage to turn left and do the opposite, and I have no idea what's next. I just know I don't want this anymore.
Yeah.
And so and then to come to Nish's point, again, I'm so sorry, all of these thoughts
came
to me, but
tell
and I'm trying to like shove them together, is that point that Nish always makes, which is if you desire worldly pleasures, which, are all distractions, whatever your distraction is, whatever your coping mechanism is, like instead of sitting in the discomfort, what is your coping mechanism? And he's like, please do go out and get it, so only that you may see that they don't ultimately fulfill you. And at first, when I heard that, I'm like, ooh, fuck you, man. Like, ouch, ouch, but it's like, no, for real, because how else could you have the courage to do something opposite of what you're automatic response is,
Yeah.
unless you've been burn, and then fine, I'll try. So it's like, it's, yeah, that's all that came up for me. And I really don't think I have a way to bow it up, but there it is.
Yes. Going towards what you desire, because you desire it for a reason. And even though intellectually you know whatever, like, oh, the only way to peace is through myself, and all of the intellectually, you know, that I'm repeating the same pattern. I think I was, what was it? Oh, when you're forming new neural pathways, when you're forming new decision-making skills, there is going to be a moment where you're like alive in your own body, understanding that you are going the same way, which is the step before actually being able to change the way.
Yeah.
So I think that part of it, I feel like I'm like, oh, fuck. Like, I'm like sitting there watching myself do the thing. And then I'm like, I think I don't like that though. But you do it, but you're like, oh no. So that's the part that I'm at with.
And in this life, if you are somebody who's trying to live, whether it be more spiritually or just on a healing journey of like self-accountability and taking responsibility for your life, and like taking responsibility for your traumas and your responses and stuff like that, and not waiting for others to fix it. Whatever it is, there's all these traps that get talked about of like spiritual bypassing or like toxic positivity or whatever. And it's like, is frustration not love and light too? Like, is that not like a loving energy? And the thing, it's easy for me to say right now because I'm feeling in an okay spot, you know, but when I'm in the frustration, it's near impossible to remember. But it's like, it's getting easier, which is that frustration is the sign of you being about to break through and change. And it's that lobster analogy of like, pain is the catalyst that causes growth. Without it, why would we leave our comfort zone? So it's actually like, can you not love yourself that you're frustrated? You are frustrated. And now, can you internally sit in that frustration and go and validate yourself? You're craving validation from somebody else. Why can't you? And why can't we do that for ourselves? So it's like I am frustrated. I'm frustrated that I'm feeling stagnant, or I'm sensing stagnation. I'm feeling like I've gone through this before. Why can't I figure out this fucking puzzle? I'm frustrated at myself. Validate that. And once you validate, then you can talk back to the story you're telling. But if you try to skip that part and go, you idiot, like, you need to be moving on. You're not a victim and you're fucking dumb and like,
you idiot. You need to be better at this. Yeah, no. Yeah.
So it's you, like, look at yourself as a mother to yourself and hold that frustrated little trying so hard baby that is you, and it's just like, I don't want this, and it's God, I'm so proud of you for feeling so intensely and knowing your potential and knowing your growth, you know. So yeah, it's just so funny. I could say it with ease right now.
I feel like well, and that's why I'm broaching the subject, because we got the juice to it. And I do feel of that, like, the juice, that, like, not separation, but that that responsibility more so than I have ever before, to be there with myself, like, truly. Because in order to accept yourself, in order to love yourself and accept yourself, you do it unconditionally. And there has to be a moment where you're deciding to be there with yourself, even though it's like, and it does feel like there's like two me's. The one that like is the me that's doing the work, and the me that is getting integrated into the me that's doing the work. So the me has to be like, it's okay
Ooh.
that you are really like this, whatever. Because I feel like, and I think this is like, we all have, whether or not we know about them is a completely different issue, because who cares what your character flaws are? We all get them, so who cares what they are and which ones are good or bad, like, and better to have and whatever. But I feel like for a long time I thought, and this is so funny because it's funny that I don't think that I thought this, but I definitely thought this, that I would heal and then I would become someone who I would love. And I really thought that. And not in a way where I was like, I suck, but in a way where I'm like, I suck and so does everybody else. But if I heal, like, it felt like, no, it like, and not in a way where it's like, you're not worthy of love unless you don't, but in a way where it's like, you heal and then you realize you're worthy of love. But it's not, you're already, that's how you heal, is by knowing that you are already worthy of love. You don't even have, like, even people who are like not healing, whatever, like, they're worthy of love too. They're worthy of their own love, especially unconditionally yours, your own. Like, I can't speak to other people. I wish we could all give everybody unconditional love. That would be sick. Truly, that'd be great. But my own love is not conditional. It doesn't matter how much of a fucking asshole I am. It really doesn't. Like, it really, like, that, like, it's like a flip. It's like, because I thought, like, oh, I'll heal and then I'll really get to know myself. Like, this, like, but it was still this, like, oh, yeah. And then the goalposts move and you're like, why am I not the perfect version of myself? And I would hear, like, I would get messages, like, when I was channeling or when I was, like, listening to other people, I was like, no, you're already it. And I'm like, what do you mean? She's over there. And then me would be like, no, dude, I'm here. I've been here. You're already it, man. There's no other version of you. This is it. I was like, what do you mean? But I am going to be the best version. It's like, you already are. But it's like that fucking Zen paradox shit that I love. That's like, and it's like, once you realize you're worthy of love, you become someone worthy of love, because you always were. There was no, you transform, but not the way you think it's going to happen.
Correct.
But that's I find myself, that's like my hardest, like, practical lesson, is like being like, you're already it. You're already here. You're already that. You're not going anywhere. You are, and you're going everywhere. Of course, you're going up and you're ascending and you're learning and you're growing, and like, yeah, that's true. But also, you're already here. And that's like, I'm like, but am I? Yes.
But I'm not enough. That's the core. Okay, there you go. You don't think you're enough. And how can that be combated? And it's funny because just the other day I was talking with a loved one who did something that they regretted and was embarrassed.
Yeah.
And I was talking to them, and like, right in the midst of it happening. And I think this is how the ego, like, and I still
they were embarrassed. They were feeling embarrassed for something.
Correct. And regret.
Okay.
Both. You know, and both big. And I think this is how the ego gets formed, along with other things, but I think this is one of the big things, is it's a split. It's and I was just talking about this with somebody else too, but it's like, this is the version I can show you. This is the version that I need you to see, because if I let you see this, you're going to hate me, because I hate this. I hate this part. And instead of actually loving and integrating and saying, I'm not this.
I'm all of
not this. I'm this.
Yeah.
Instead of doing that, we go, ooh, that's done. And I don't want to, we don't need to talk about that, and blah, blah, blah. And admittedly, in our society on the whole, we're not in many spaces safe to show this bit, because so many people are quick to hold you to that because it gives them a feeling of superiority, and
the programming of, like, asshole. You have to make sure that you're safe, and you have to, like, and, like, especially if you're like you fall into a category that's been oppressed, and we've been dealing with that so that's like and
it's become a cool thing to do.
Yeah.
they're not assholes for doing that. It's just what is. And what is we've been taught that if I show this part, I'll be canceled, I'll be held to this, and this is
Ostracized.
all that people will see, you know? And it's like, and at least within the spaces, I can't promise you spaces that will hold that part as preciously as it needs to be held. At least with me, and I could tell you with Carly, you're safe. But more than that, fuck that. What deserves the safety is within yourself.
Yeah.
And
yes.
where my loved one was getting a little upset at first, like we always have these very intense like talk through our trigger moments that are very illuminating for both of us, but like they were like, it seems like you're just like holding me to these mistakes. And I go, and I was
I'm
like,
not.
I'm not. It's
I'm
not that
not.
I'm going, look at what a piece of shit you are. I go, yes, this was shitty and I love you. Like, and why don't you? That's the issue, because now we're starting to split. This isn't me. This is, and let's move on. And it's like, ooh, it hurts. But then
but it
once they come
feels,
together,
it's like getting a
right.
massage.
Yes.
It's like body work. It's like this hurts,
Yes.
but but it feels good, but it hurts so much, but it feels good. Like, and you're like in it, and you feel like your whole like existence is like, come on, like you're like, come on. And there are moments where I'm like, at peace because I just went through the like rockiness of feeling uncomfortable about these parts of me that are like desperate to like be absorbed by one another, desperate to be all one all the time. Stop separating me, stop trying to like, and it's like but it's so funny that we're talking about this now because I'm like, I'm having a hard time, but then I'm like, but I'm also doing it and it's awesome.
Yes! I know, it's so funny how like stupidly contrasting it is. It goes from immediately and without just like effort, just like this is hard to like, what was I saying? Like, you know, like this is nothing,
like, wait, is it
and it
hard?
never was.
Is it hard?
My belief in it being hard is what made it hard, you know? And then the second that goes away, but then it has its waves and you forget but it, you know, whatever. Yeah, it's just really cool.
I also have another thing that's been coming up. Yes, and we've talked about this many times. And this goes into like when we're learning stuff, and part of being at peace and part of like your own journey is allowing other people to have their own journey, which is the thing.
So hard.
So hard.
How do I not fix you?
When a common thing, because I feel like a lack of self-love, not even a lack, we don't even have to say a lack, but like a skewed relationship with self-love, a not completely aligned relationship with self-love. We're all looking for that, right? Like we're all looking to feel the endless well of love from within us, ultimately. But then you see other people dealing with it, and it like, and you're like, no, stop it. No. But then it's like, no, they're doing it like, and you like keeping that. Cause I find myself being like, trying to like, not correct other people. Cause it's not a correction, but like, you know, like trying to offer what I'm doing. Yes. And I'm just like, dude, it's not that that's not valuable, but you offer it not by putting it into their space, but by just embodying it for yourself. But that line is so thin for me right now that I always feel like I'm like, pump, like, love yourself.
I know.
And they're like, stop behind me. Like, why don't you love yourself? It's uncomfortable for me that you don't. But it's like, cut it out, man. Like, let it be uncomfortable for you then, man. Because that's something that I'm like, do you feel that? Do you feel that, Jess? That like, you're like, come on.
Like you have no, especially as a chronic fucking fixer, which like one, arrogance, hubris, bullshit, ego, fuck you. No one is needing fixing.
Yeah.
They are not mine. No. They are not yours. They are God's.
Yeah.
You know? And like, if I trust that I'm had by the universe and that everything's working out as it's meant to, how the fuck could I have the audacity, which I do all the time, that
Which,
I know what's
let me tell you,
best?
I do.
Okay. Well, and it's so funny that like in the visual that you provided, it was love yourself, and you're literally hitting yourself.
Oh,
You're literally, you fucking
yeah.
idiot. Like it's you, you know? It's like love yourself where you are. And if you do, that's when the compulsion, because it is a compulsion
It
for us
is.
both.
It is.
Literally. And that's the pain. The pain for us, we always turn right. I always reach out my hand. I always try to, we're all floating in a lake and
Mm-hmm.
drowning. You got up on a dinky life raft and you're going, take my hand, I'll pull you up here. Well, we don't know, but they're about to go to a place where they can touch. And
Yeah.
we're taking that from them and they're gonna walk out, you know, but like we jumped out. We're
Yeah.
up on this platform. Like, why don't you come with me? I fix it. This works.
And
Yes, it does.
everybody's gonna do it different. It's gonna look different for everybody.
Just as it's meant to. And I told you the examples that I did when we were talking about this of Mimi, who's in the room,
Me, me,
and I
me, me.
are. She's my older sister, and we're going to Savage Garden together in San Francisco.
That's
Everybody, we
right.
are going to Savage Garden. Um, but that was the biggest aha moment in my life, was learning through her, which was seeing we are completely differently paced people, where and it took my whole life. I was Mrs. like, Mimi, do what I'm doing, and she's like, I'm fine over here, and I'm like, ugh. And then only through getting to look behind us and looking at the path that she's covered and the ground that she's covered and the ground that I've covered, it's the same. Like, we're coming to the same thing, except she did it in this very thorough, very patient way, and I was like a
Yes.
blaze over a
Mm-hmm.
field setting everything on fire, and it's like, well, it's gone. And the example I love to give is the way she and I get into the water truly is, I like to jump in off a ledge or a rock or something because I like to deal with all the consequences and be done and be swimming. Mimi will take an hour to ease in, and she loves it. She takes her time and she feels the different sensations. It's almost meditative unconsciously. And
Yeah.
like,
Savor.
she gets in the
Savoring.
water.
Yeah.
She gets in the water. It's just that not at my pace. And by recognizing that, and I love the other analogy with her is like, if both of us found out that no matter what, we had to have every bone in our body broken, there's no way around it. You have to have every bone in your body broken. I would be like, put me in a body cast and lay me out for however many years until I heal and be done with it. Mimi would be like, okay, now break my pinky toe and let it heal. Okay, the next one, and she would just take it a bite at a time. And that, getting to see that and getting to just like love, see that example of like love and courage in such a different form than the one I'm familiar with, has been the greatest gift, because it's made me see that I have no idea what is major for somebody versus what is major for me. I
That's none of
don't
my
know. And it's
business.
none of my business. And what is this? It's a distraction. I'm not looking at myself. Why am I
Yeah, why am I
unsettled?
not looking at myself?
Ultimately, I'm not trying to help them. I'm trying to ease the discomfort in my body that I'm feeling when I'm seeing you like uh perceivably behind.
Yeah.
And
And
it's like,
it allows so like it's such a I always find that any lesson that I learn immediately applies externally too. Like any inside lesson that you learn helps you externally. So like I remember when I first was like, I'm not gonna like actively, this is like a long time ago, but like I'm not gonna like actively judge people in like a like I'm just gonna taper that, as opposed to like letting my internal monologue just latch onto people and just have opinions about them. I'm just like not gonna let it do that. Like I'm just gonna practice on that, and then also seeing things that I do like and seeing things. And I noticed that doing that, or no, it was the flip. So I was like, positive self-talk. I'm going to use positive self-talk for myself, and I'm not going to purposefully notice things about myself that I don't like and call it out and whatever. Like, I'm gonna be like, if that starts, I'm gonna be like, okay, we're not gonna do that. We're gonna do either positive self-talk or none, or like neutral. And I noticed that when I did that, I stopped doing it to other people. And it was like the self, like, judgment and all of that stuff was like, I'm not good enough, diminishes for myself and for everyone else. Because I can't talk shittily about other people either. Because it's not a muscle that I'm training. And the same thing for, like, when you're loving yourself, you allow all the parts of yourself to exist, and suddenly everybody else also gets to exist in their full humanity. And it's so much bigger and easier to be with people because you understand, like, oh yeah, like, you're a full human being and you're complex. And, like, everybody is a full human being who is complex. And if I'm allowing my own humanity and my own self to exist as completely as it is with no judgment, then, oh my God, cool. Everybody else gets to exist that way too. And I don't have to be all fucking weird and pissed off about people anymore. Like, and it's like this, like, bonus thing that is like, oh, I don't have to sit around thinking about what other people are doing. And like, and the practice and, like, practicing, and I'm not an expert at it yet, one day, but like, practicing, it's a lifelong craft. But practicing, like, giving myself grace allows me to give so much grace to other people, and that's so fucking sick.
Amen. And it's funny because I may have mentioned this before on here. I don't know if there's anybody in here who's, like, from the comedy community. But I remember you and I met in the comedy community, when we met, I was in such a playful, abundant, creative energy I didn't even know.
Yeah.
I was just down. I was down to play. And then as I started to succeed, I started becoming
girl, tell me about it. Tell me about it.
Yeah.
Speak on it.
And I was in friend groups where the thing to do after we saw anyone's show, which is such a vulnerable thing to do, is put anything you created out there, which deserves a lot of bravery and some pretty tender hands. Instead, we would sit in a cafe and assess all their
if it was
errors.
Good or not.
And
whether or not it was good.
Blah, 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 blah,
was
blah,
it good, like, or was it bad?
Yeah. This one was problematic. This part, this. And honestly, like, that's pretty rich of them to say because I know that they did this, or whatever. And, like, either way, we picked it apart and tore it to shreds. And then
that was one of our favorite things to do.
Yeah, that was the thing.
Oh, yeah.
And, like, I'm not even shitting on those versions of us.
But that was what was like a comedy. I don't know what other comedians do, but, like, that's what it was, like, a big comedy thing. Like, if you were in comedy, you, like, did that.
Yeah,
and that's what we did.
Like,
that's what we did.
And it also made us feel like, I'm good at comedy because I can see the problems in comedy.
Your voice, the voice.
And
I'm good at comedy.
Because look at me being able to critique this with such laser-focused analysis. But what happened ultimately, I couldn't create anymore.
No.
Because every idea I ever had,
ripped it apart.
I put it through the filter of how hard I was on other people, and I imagined the audience thinking the things that I would think about them. And, like, that really hurt.
Whoa.
And that is that perfectionism, and that is what can happen to us in spirituality. And it happens to me, like, where I get triggered the most, and I'm actually in a space where I'm pretty good at letting people, like, loving people for living how they choose to live. Like, I'm at one of the healthiest spaces in that than I have been in.
You really are. I copy you all the time. I copy you all the time in that regard. I'm just like, give it a little Jess. Put a little Jess on it. What do we give it a little Jess?
Oh, my ego loves. No, but genuinely, I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm you know what it is I'm getting to a place where I'm able to detach myself from their actions But since I'm living amongst family, that attachment is much closer. And that's also, I think, what helps me extend grace outward, because it's like, yeah, well, you're not, you're not my family or whatever. So it's like,
Yeah.
it's a little more distanced. But where I really struggle is when I see people where I still get triggered and critical and have a difficulty loving them through their moment, is in moments of selfishness and in moments of
Yes.
flash assessments that are just like very like very like, I'm trying to think of an example that's not like exposing very just like, well, this is who they are, and it's like, god, is that reductive and way off base and super fucking shitty. I hate that. And so I'm filled with those emotions of like, why is it hatred? And where I'm trying now, and maybe I can use your tool of like, I'm not going to do this, but what I'm doing is every time that comes up is I've been trying to go, why? Like, what is it that they're showing that you would hate in yourself, or that you do hate in yourself? And like, selfishness is not bad,
I
you
got
know?
one. I got one for this.
Yes,
So
please.
people are our mirrors, but not
Right.
because they're being us. Because the way that we respond to them shows us who we are. So not because like when I see someone being selfish, it's not because I don't dislike them because I'm selfish. I feel uncomfortable because of what somebody else's selfishness brings up for me. So it's not because like you aren't like, when you don't like what somebody's doing, it's not because you're like them. Sometimes it is. Sometimes, and it depends. It's always different. It depends on the person. But when we say that other people are our mirror, it's because what does a mirror do? It shows you what you look like right now, right? It shows you an approximation of what that mirror brings out in you. And that's why it's also important to have clear mirrors, because there are people who
Right.
will show a funhouse mirror version of you, who will distort the way that you're like people who are like think that you're being sarcastic and you're like, I'm completely sincere, like I'm being completely sincere, because so it's like there's like a two-pronged, like they're twofold thing of that. But when we say like people are mirrors, it's not because they're being like us. It's because whatever somebody else is doing, something will happen. Like we will respond some way. And if you're responding to a person who is selfish in a way where like for example, you believe yourself, you want to be, you feel that you are a gracious, kind, forgiving person, then somebody does something to have you, to give you the opportunity to be that. And then you either realize that, oh, maybe that has boundaries that I didn't know. Like you recognize more boundaries that you didn't know about, or you recognize like, oh, like I'm really not conscious when somebody does this. Like I do not behave in the conscious, like graceful, loving nature that I know when. So it's like, and a lot of the time we're always turning, like it's always us turning back to like, okay, they're doing something, I'm feeling like this, why is that happening for me? And people are just the catalyst for that. Right. So like, yeah, people are mirrors, but not because they're us, because whatever they're doing is gonna bring up stuff for us, and we're the ones choosing what we're being shown. And then sometimes people are funhouse mirrors. They're showing you shit
Dude,
that's not
so
you.
wild. I love it.
And you can be like, I don't fuck with you because you're all wobbly and warped for me.
Yeah.
And I don't fuck with you. I don't fuck with that because that's not, I know what I am. I know who I am. But if you don't know who you are, that also becomes
Right.
I
Well,
know
and
what's
there it is like, do you know who you are? And if so, because for me, excuse me, the coach that I had forever, Despina, was like, trust the triggers to teach, which I know I've said to you. And like,
Yes.
so I've been like, okay, what is it? And I agree. It's not like I'm going, oh, it's because I'm selfish or I make these flash assessments about people. It's like, I actually don't. That's what's driving me crazy, is that you're not. And then it goes back to, in those moments, one, why am I attaching myself to this
Same.
person's
Meh.
people can be wrong or they can be different, and I why is that rocking me off my center? Why am I now in the position of going from I'm talking to you to now I need to prove to you
Why can't I
that you're
just
wrong?
be myself the way that I am without you
Right.
needing to do anything? You don't got
Right.
to do
And
anything.
why can't I just say my counteracted belief around what they just said without the emotional attachment,
And the
without the
moral
like
attachment.
moral attachment, right? And just being like, and it's like the same way that they're not knocked off their center, they're just saying their shit. Well, sometimes they are, and but it doesn't matter. That's not for you. You are knocked off your center. Why? Like, what did that
Yeah.
do to just like change you? Like, because it did.
Yeah. Yes.
So yeah, it's interesting. Don't have the answers, but it's like
No, yeah.
we'll get there, or we
But
won't. But either
I
way,
do notice that like other, like, I'm observing other people or being around other people and something happens. A comment is said, whatever. And I am like, oh, like, I'm like, okay, don't, and it feels like you're balancing, right? Like, you're like balancing. I'm in my center. Okay, what? Okay, wait. And then you gotta be like, okay, let me not push my energy in your energy. Let me not be in your space. Let me just be in my own space and really assess. And I think a lot of people in general, I know from me as a person at least, who was very wound up for a very long time and still works to change those programs of being so tightly coiled and like ready to fight or whatever, ready to, I don't know, do something. It's this movement that a lot of people are walking around like the imbalanced nervous systems who are like not, they don't know that it's just them doing it at that, and that, so they're like ticking time bomb sort of like. And like that's another layer of that, when like somebody is behaving in a way where you're like, oh man, you're a tornado, and you still have to keep your center even if it's like
yeah,
wrong for them. It's like, no, like they're on their own thing. Like, it's not good or bad. You're not more smart or healed because you, like, it's literally just like you keep your own, because like then if you're like, well, you're off your then you're off your
yeah.
center
No,
too.
but what about you? Like, how can you validate yourself? How can you give yourself the love and the comfort and the nourishment? And it all comes down to that self-love every moment.
Yeah.
Yes, people are going to fuck up and piss you off and
Yes.
do wrong by
Yes.
you.
Yes.
But
Betray you.
is it true? Like, when we're offended, like let's say somebody calls me like uh fat and big and loud, which are things that I've
Fat
heard.
and big and loud.
I used to just cry when
Yeah.
someone would say that, and then my posture's horrible. I'm 6'1". I tried to bring myself down to hear people like, and now the shift, and this can happen for anybody, is yeah, like, and then what? So like
Okay.
instead, before I would go, I am big, big is bad. I am fat,
Yeah.
fat is bad and ugly. I am loud, loud is bad. All of it, all of that, if I listened to it, I'd be smaller.
Yeah.
Smaller in size, smaller in weight, and smaller in volume, and smaller in presence. And like that, thank God that at least on those fronts, I'm like, okay. And that's where we can get with everything. Like if somebody, like, I know especially for women, I was talking to a bunch of friends who a biggest issue when we're thinking about going into a new environment or asserting our authority in any way is it's like, well, guys, they'll just think I'm stupid or I'm nagging or I'm loud or whatever. And it's like, is that true? Like, are you? Like, are you? No, you're not. So
Yeah.
like, are you gonna let the fear of this person's judgment stop you from living as much as you can? Like, those judgments will happen, but
Yeah.
like, and again, I'm not trying to be like, deal with it, get over it, blah blah blah. I'm just saying that it can be shifted in perspective, where you're always in your power, because those judgments can't hurt you
Yeah.
when you love yourself, when you know yourself, when you accept yourself for all that you are. And yeah, I think that's like the goal of it.
I think, yeah, that's the, like, it's funny because I was like, oh, that's what that is. Like, I had a moment where I was like, oh, if I accept all the ways that I am, and I can be any way, then I in effect am untouchable. Because I used to think, and then when I was really young, when I was younger, I used to think like, oh, I'll just be the best at everything, and that way nobody can say anything. But that's not tenable. That's not sustainable. And some people, it's funny because some people find success that way, but then they still don't find peace because they become the best, but the way that they became the best was by being afraid of being the worst, which is not a peaceful existence, as I found out very young. But like when you have that well of like, it doesn't matter. Like, yeah, sometimes I'm going to fuck up. I'm going to fuck up. I'm going to do things that like other people don't like, or like that I don't like that I did that. And I'm going to have to apologize, or sometimes I'm going to make a mistake, or sometimes I'm going to be surprised by the way I respond to something, and it's not going to be the way that I would have wanted to respond to it. And sometimes I'm going to realize that I have thoughts and beliefs that maybe don't align with who I truly want to be, and then I'm going to have to fix that. And like all of these things, that those are the ways that you are a human. But it's like, and being like, but I love myself anyway. I love myself anyway. Because you can't shame yourself into being the best version of yourself. You can't hate yourself into being the best version of yourself. But I really was like, oh, that is why. Because I think people get frustrated with self-love talk and talk about self-love. Because I see it online. I see it, people being like, this sucks that we think that we can't be loved if we don't love ourselves, et cetera, et cetera. But firsthand experience for me, I don't always know how to receive love and care from people or situations when I am in a space of not loving myself fully. Actually, like I've seen myself do it, like outwardly reject bids for love from other people because I don't feel worthy of it, because there's a program that says that I am not, that is running, that I'm not aware of, until afterwards I'm like, wait, and I like look back, I'm like play the recording again, and I'm like, fuck, I rejected that out of habit from a place of lack and scarcity and whatever, because I'm still learning to fully accept and love myself. And I'm like,
I know.
You like that's why, like, it's not like it's self-love. And I used to think like, well, self-love is when you get so good that you love yourself. And from what we've learned, it is loving yourself regardless. But I think that's the hardest thing in the world.
Right.
But
you
it's the most,
what? You need to go live in a hole,
exactly,
and be buried underground and burned alive.
And it also is hard for people to accept that they can't do that to other people either. Because we're not going to get somewhere good by fucking shaming each other and telling each other that the behavior is like, because it's one thing to do unacceptable behaviors, whatever, behaviors that need to change, for sure. But they won't change if we're all shaming each other into like behaving the right way. Because it's like, I'm not fucking trying to be best friends with any neo-Nazis, for sure. But that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about like verbiage. We're talking about like being able to apologize. Like we got to do it for ourselves so that we can do it for other people.
Exactly. And it's hard
that's what it's towards.
There's a lot of like memeable things to say, and I think that's what makes it so difficult to talk about this, is because the words are intended to bear more weight than they hold because of their overuse. Like it's like saying things like, all you got to do is love yourself, love is the answer, like all the cliches, but they're true. But it feels to people who are hearing it, especially people who are like amidst the struggle. I was even talking to a loved one about it recently, but it's like, it feels dismissive. It feels like it's
Yes.
like all you
Yeah.
have to do. It's not real. It's not real. Like this isn't real. And it's like, yeah, it's not.
Oh God, you're
But it also
fucking
is. The
yeah.
paradoxes, like we were talking about. And you know, when you mentioned the mirrors, like Nish brought up an example of like he talked about the clarity of mirrors and stuff, and talked about people like Sri Ramakrishna, the Buddha, and Jesus being the clear mirrors, being like the purest mirror, and like whether you think they had like holy supernatural powers, imagine being in the presence of somebody who's looking you in
Who's
the
not
eyes and
distorted
reflecting
whatsoever.
back the love that you are. Like the
That's like
absolute.
Ram Dass's guru. Same thing. When I sat at the feet of the
Exactly.
guru, I saw myself and cried.
Exactly.
Because
He
I could
sees
see
all of you
how worthy and lovable I was.
through the reflection. So if we're showing, if people are cloudy or funhouse or like for like in my life, like you're as clear, you're in the top tier clear
Same.
mirrors that we have access
We're
to.
clear mirror,
And
baby.
even then, to imagine like literally looking in the mirror of someone else's eyes and having them see all of you and just fucking be like, I love you so much. Like how just fall to your
For
knees.
all that
Like
you are. Yeah.
holy shit, you know. And that's what it is. And it's so, how do you inflect that weight when you can't even say Jesus because of how much, like, even me personally have issues
Same.
with the church and the word, and you can't say these words
I'm
because
always like,
they're
I wish there was a
the
cooler name. Like, I'm always like, which is stupid because I mean, all the names are true. Like, it's the one, right? It's like all of the names
right.
for the consciousness, the being, the universe,
We're all it.
the everything, all that is, all of those things are it. You, me, all like. And it's like, I wish there was a way that I could communicate what I mean when I say God, or what I mean when I say
Right.
Jesus, or what I mean when I
Right.
say,
Spirit,
because
universe,
the name,
whatever.
yeah. And I say the universe because, like, if we are all one consciousness, then the universe, like, it's like the same,
Word.
that's what we know about it. That's what we know it as, but we
Right.
know it is God, and we know it. So, like, yeah, I'm always like, I wish there was a cooler, my ego or whatever, myself, my little earth self is like, I wish there was a cooler name than everybody, but it's like, nope, everybody is not going to understand what you mean because we're all individuated. So it doesn't matter what other people hear from what you say.
Right.
Like, if they hear it, they hear it. And if they don't, then they're not listening to you. So it doesn't matter.
And that's the gift that I think we're giving, because I know I talked to you during my big event of like a perceptive shift and
There you go.
my awakening. I kept just saying what I thought, and by the way, what I thought was crazy, so crazy that it landed me in a mental institution twice.
There we go.
But I realized in that moment I was just saying my truth, which I think that speaking your truth doesn't mean what you're saying is right. It just means that's authentically what you're feeling. And you can't actually get to
that's a good
what
note.
is like home if you're not saying it, because no one can buck it. You know, no one can like hit it and you go, oh, this is where it stands, this is where it falls. Oh, okay, and it evolves. But some of us are like, this is my truth, and then we nail ourselves to it. And it's like,
and then we nail
well, that's
ourselves
crazy.
to
So it's
it,
like,
yeah.
so I was just speaking my truth again, not necessarily correct, but out came anything I thought, and it was wild. And but what was amazing is people were physically repulsed or repelled by me.
You told me that.
And I was like, old me and even current me, if someone was repulsed and repelled by me, my feelings would get hurt. I'd be like, but like me. And instead they moved
Accepted
away,
it.
and the people who had ears to hear me came towards me and started talking with me, where they were like, okay, like, let's get you in the hospital. And I'm looking at them like, not an idiot still, even though I'm in that state. And I'm going, you fucking think I'm crazy.
Yeah,
wow.
dude.
And I'm like, fine. And then
take me to the
hospital. People are like, yeah, I know this crazy. Let's go. It was like, don't worry. Everything's a gift. If all you're doing is loving yourself, again, if you're someone who wants to help people and doesn't want to be selfish, which I think is a lot of people that are drawn in our circles because that's who we are too.
Yeah.
We don't want to hurt people. Then the biggest gift you can give is to reflect back. If you love yourself, then you can help everyone just by being a reflection of that love.
Yeah.
That's it. And that's how you can get to it. And by speaking your truth, whatever it is, again, not being married to it being right or wrong.
Yes.
Just is, you're shining your light.
That's an important
Hear
detail.
you come, and the people who aren't remove themselves. You don't even have to do anything. I swear to God. You don't have to draw a boundary. You don't have to. They draw the boundary, and you go, all right. And I forget that often.
Yeah, and the other thing about boundaries is that like boundaries are a lot of the time innate to you, and like boundaries are not like on the defense. Boundaries are not like you don't push. Like a boundary isn't you pushing somebody away. A boundary is something that is like that you establish it as inherent, and people will run up to them, but it will become very clear that they can't cross them when you are loving yourself and, you know, doing the work and having, because like a boundary is innate for somebody, for if you're loving yourself. And like we think about like, and that's the other thing I was going to say about words is that they get co-opted, they get changed. Like we get concepts, and especially now that our consciousness is just rapidly absorbing and integrating and learning so many things, like we like even like boundaries has been co-opted. Like people like the word boundary, set a boundary, but a boundary isn't something you push out to somebody to get them to act a certain way. Correct. A boundary is you saying what you do in the case of something. So if somebody does something, you to follow I do this when you do that, but I'm not pushing my shit into your shit. That's not a boundary. Controlling other people is not a boundary. That's not love.
Correct.
Needing other people to be a certain way so that you can be a certain way is not love. That's not love, and that's not helpful. So like, yeah, like you have a boundary, but boundaries are they're there and you stick to them and you're the one behaving. And yeah, people do fall away from boundaries when you love yourself, because it's like they can't if they need to cross that boundary in order to be in your orbit, and that's a deal breaker for them, then they'll get the fuck out. Like that's how that works. And you're right. Correct. You won't have to do anything because you have your semi-permeable, if whoever wants to be with my life appropriately can be, and whoever wants to fuck around won't be able to. So that's fucking great.
Which, by the way, part of speaking your truth, and you and I had a conversation about this recently, is being like, my feelings are hurt right now. Mm-hmm. I'm feeling really upset. I'm actually triggered. Like, I'm really not feeling comfortable. I'm looking at you differently, you know, like whatever. And then offering that, not being like, so bye. It's like offering that and seeing if the person across from you can rise to meet you and go, oh, wow, see, I'm feeling this. And maybe it's a misunderstanding. Maybe it's not. Either way, if they can't rise there, they will remove. And especially if you continue, like it's hard because it's like we have versions of speaking our truth, myself included, which is like, you're fucked up, or like you did this, you know, and it is what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
But like the deeper than that is, I'm hurt right now. I'm feeling really unseen. I'm feeling like this is how I'm hearing what you just said. Is that how you meant it? And like genuinely asking, because sometimes it's not, sometimes it is, and why. And so,
and you keep saying this.
It takes courage.
Yeah, you keep saying this, and it's so true. And it's something that I am weaving into the fabric of my life too, is like not needing to be right. Like you don't have to be morally correct. Nobody in it needs to be we don't decide who's right and wrong and then decide the punishment. Like that's not what we're doing. We're trying to be together. We're trying, like if the goal, and then especially for me in all my relationships, really, like I want the goal to be like, are we trying to do whatever it is we're doing? Like in whatever way that we want to be together, is that what we're working towards ultimately? Because if it's like, even as much, and like it hurts to say this too, like, I'm not in a relationship with you so that you will be comfortable. And if you need everybody around you to be making you comfortable in order to be in relationships with them, that's not why I'm in relationships. Which is like, you gotta do there's so much like, what's the word? Like, equilibrium that you have to achieve within yourself. Always. It's always going to be my job to self-soothe myself. Somebody can try and help me if they're there with me and they want to co-regulate with me, for sure. But it's my fucking job. Like, it is nobody else's job to fight the ghosts that I make up about them in my head. That is not anybody else's fucking job. I can tell them that I'm feeling feelings, and I'm, like, and I did have a conversation with somebody I care about how I was confused around them. But when we talked about it, it became like a team effort, and it wasn't me just making up. But I didn't come at it like, you're making me this, you did this. It was very much like, I'm feeling like this. I'm feeling confused.
Which
and
is
I don't,
all that it is.
And that's, and yeah, and it's like, I don't know. And I was actually, I'm growing. I was like recognizing, like, I'm making up all these like weird stories. And I know that they're not true. So, like, I'm just going to say how I feel, because that's not attached to anything. That's not attached to a story. That's just, I'm feeling like this. Can you weigh in on our connection?
Exactly.
And then they did.
Genuinely recognizing you don't know.
And they did. And I was like, oh, this is sick. This is the clarity that I needed, because I needed somebody else who is in it with me, in that connection, to say, oh, this is, what I observe and this is what I see, but also not in a way where it's like, this is the way to be and this is not the way to be. There's no punishment attached. There's no morality attached. It's literally just, we talk about our feelings so that we can understand what is happening and then be on the same page after that. And I'm not going to fight.
Magic.
Yeah, it is actually magic.
If you dare lead with vulnerability, which, oh my gosh, God bless you. That is so hard. And like, I love you for like exposing yourself, just being like, I'm going to be mortally injured potentially.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, I could be fucking destroyed. Like, oh, you precious heart. Like, thank you for doing that. That's so brave. And like, I'm trying to, and Carly's trying to, we're trying, but I swear, if you do just take that leap of saying the truth, which is not, you're an asshole. It's, I'm feeling attacked. I'm feeling like you think I'm dumb. I feel that you think, that's how I'm hearing.
Or even even deeper than that, like, I'm feeling sad. I'm feeling scared. Sad.
I could cry soon.
And it's so hard to tell somebody how you're feeling scared. Like, that's so hard. Yes. But like, if you can, oh my God.
I promise.
When people have told me,
you'll be met with reward, even if it is them leaving your life. And I'm sorry, that's a different kind of reward than maybe you would.
I'm sorry, that's a different kind of reward.
But it's a reward. But yes. It will be also backed with a feeling of empowerment that you would not have had before. There's only reward for bearing your heart like that. And like, I know you and I were talking about this like a long time ago, where it's like, for so many years, I craved people to trust me, to talk at depth. And I was so sick of the surface level bullshit, and especially being in the comedy community, which I saw that one comment. I liked it. I go Paval. Nothing made me more annoyed than another team in the audience refusing to laugh.
Yeah.
Totally. Yes. Ugh, and I even entered those realms,
Oh yeah, because you want to belong and you want to be a cool comedian who everybody thinks is cool.
I felt it. I didn't enjoy comedy anymore. I didn't laugh because I didn't think it was funny, and it's because I wasn't playing anymore. I was thinking and analyzing and being being a
dick.
I was punishing it. You don't have to we don't have to worry. Like, I was not enjoying my time, and it's so wild. But anyway, what was I saying? Oh. In those comedy circles, I craved connection so earnestly, and I found it. I didn't even realize at the time until later. The ones who really showed themselves. But like, I couldn't understand why people wouldn't trust me or open up. It's because I didn't trust them.
Because I wasn't, dude. That is, the call is coming from inside the house.
It's in the house. And so I finally was like, didn't realize it until after I was hospitalized very publicly, embarrassingly, not really for me, but yes,
I
it
love you.
should have been.
Not really for me, but sure, yeah, I guess I was
It
embarrassed.
should have embarrassed me. And at times I winced, but okay.
Yeah, well, hey.
It wasn't until after that I realized that one, I can be a burden. I can take up space where people are like giving to me. So again, allowed to receive. And
Oh,
then two, if
that's my
I want
lesson.
that vulnerability and I'm not having
I
it,
gotta be it.
why
I
aren't I
gotta do it.
giving it? And so now I lead. And I'm telling you, it's like I'm meeting people that I've known for years for the first time. Because I've always known them here, which was not surface, it wasn't surface level. It was nice.
You go deeper.
But then to open up the vault and be like, whoa, you look totally different down here. I never even knew you. I thought I knew you. I didn't. And now we're getting to know each other. And to know that there's even deeper, deeper, deeper. And I'm having those experiences all the time. So, yeah.
Highly rewarding.
Highly rewarding.
Highly rewarding.
If you crave validation, validate yourself. If you crave trust, trust yourself. If you crave depth in conversation, start the depth in conversation.
Because the call is coming from inside the house.
It's in the house. Okay?
Good.
Who's got the extinguisher?
Okay.
The loving, foam-filled extinguisher. Don't hate that. Of course you don't feel safe. We've been burned.
No, yeah.
But are you going to be someone you're not?
The uncomfortability of not getting what you need emotionally, or like just, and like not even from other people, just like the uncomfortableness of a closed heart will become too much. And you will crack it. It will crack open.
Down, Corley.
Corley.
The uncomfortableness of a what?
Of a closed heart will become too
Girl,
much.
You were writing a poetry book. You write that
down.
I
poetry book. I'm writing it down right now. Shut up.
Corley, yeah,
Shut
you
up.
put it in the book. Well,
I'm writing it down right now.
Write it down.
I love
it's
you.
Important. This is important. Okay, we don't want to lose it. It's
Corley.
filmed and recorded. We really need to.
It's probably not. I don't. Of a closed heart will someday become too much.
Corley.
am writing a poetry book, everybody.
Yes.
I've been saying this for years, but a lot of books.
There it is.
A lot of books are due. There we go. There's the first poem.
They don't have to be long.
It is, yeah, that's the great mission that we're on, the self-love mission that expands us and then also everyone else around us. The gift that keeps on giving.
Yeah.
This is a good self-love part 2.
Wait, and who knew we needed it? Your intuition did, we fucking did.
I was like, we need to talk about this. We gotta talk about this. We gotta talk about this self-love.
It's just for whatever comfort it is to anybody, like, I'm scared to.
Oh, I'm so fucking terrified. Every day. Every day.
I don't want to hurt people's feelings. I don't want them to not like me. I don't want to fuck up. I don't want to
fuck up.
But like, so all the things that we're saying in here are always things that we're not like being like peasants.
Oh no, we're literally
all you need to
doing this because we're doing this.
We're doing this, and we're just like
not practitioners, yeah, just very committed to inner worlds.
Yeah, and
very committed to inner worlds.
If we were, we don't want to feel alone on this journey.
Yeah.
So therefore, we're shining our light. We're saying what we think in different moments, and hoping that whoever is drawn to hear it is drawn to hear it, and who isn't is fine. Yeah. Like, neither of us have lofty goals of this channel. We're not like, we only have.
This is just a nice little thing that we get to do here on the Trident Network. I'm part of the Trident Network. I wanted to have a show on the Trident Network.
We have a Discord.
We do have a Discord. Well, I think the Trident Discord is only for patrons.
Oh, so
currently we don't have a Discord. We probably should have a Discord, honestly.
Yeah, and then we can hang.
Yeah, and then we could hang. I actually have to ask Val
And
about
people
that.
can give suggestions.
Yeah. Yes. We were talking, me and you were talking about Discords. Just love yourself, peasants. Thanks, Minecraft. Peasants. Because we're experts in self-love, and we can tell you that you're a little piece of shit if you don't love yourself.
Yeah. Just be like, la, la, la. I have 4 outfits. I'm pretty sure this is a repeat.
Lowering glasses emote when? Take the screenshot, Mario.
Do we have... Okay.
All right, that was your opportunity. If you didn't take the screenshot, that wasn't very good. I should take it. I'm like, I need it to be more. Great. This is, oh yes, I knew it. See, I knew it. I was like, we got to talk about this because this is the juice right now. I'm like, here's your homework, everyone. No, I'm like, this is what I've been working on, and I know this is the juice. I've been needing the juice, and I'm glad we got to juice it.
Yes.
It is time for pep talks.
Time for pep talks.
It's time for pep talks.
As always.
15 minutes. If anybody wants a specific kind of pep talk, if you're like, this has been bothering me and I would like a little uplifting, sparkly words.
Yes.
Like and it could be anything.
You're at a dead end of a thing and you're like, there's no light. There's no light.
Because this is
here.
what me and Jess do for each other. Like, if we're feeling just low about something and we know, like, intellectually we know, like, we're part of everything and the universe loves us. We know that, but we need someone to give us the words.
Yes.
To push us through to the next moment. We'll message each other and then the other one will give them a pep talk. Usually.
Yeah.
We're not even asking for it. We'll just be like, man, I'm really down in the dumps about this and that. And it's like, hey, baby, I know what you mean. Let me tell you what the universe just told me to tell you. So if anybody is dealing with something, if you're dealing with something shitty, I don't know if you are.
Yeah.
We always give pep talks. We'll be giving a pep talk to each other, like, if nobody has something that they want to say or want us to speak on. But also, you don't, like, one day, I can't wait for the day when somebody's like, I'm sad about this. And then me and you are going to be like,
we'll fucking lose it. There's no pressure genuinely. It's just an opportunity.
We're just offering it. We're just offering it because we like it. I like getting pep talks from Jess.
I call them Rocky shoulder rubs. Like, it's like you're the boxer. You know what you're doing. You're in the ring.
You are that though, the coach.
But the champ has someone rubbing his shoulders and going
cleaning the cuts, cutting his eye open, sewing it. Fucking, like, that's the coach, man.
So yeah, so a smack on the ass, get back in the ring is basically all we are. We're not being like, you know what you're doing. You're Rocky.
You're Rocky. You're motherfucking.
You've been training for this your whole life, whether you knew it or not.
And you're doing a great job.
Okay?
Okay?
So yeah, so know that, anyone watching.
Every time we do a show, if you ever need a pep talk on something, that's what we're going to do at the end. But I think everybody's good, so we gotta.
I don't know who I could talk about this with. I don't know who I could bring this up, but damn it, it's been driving me crazy.
You're Rocky. I'll take it and run with it.
Boom, boom.
So then let us each give a pep talk to each other, as we do.
Yes, but anyone who never missed the window. I wish I needed.
We're gonna get you one day, guys. I fucking can't wait. We're gonna get you.
Yeah, and
somebody's gonna do it, and we're just gonna pep talk them. Love yourself. No. Well, then we'll give the pep talks to each other.
Yes. I can't remember whose turn it is to lead
I
off.
think you went first last time.
Okay.
So I'll go first this time. I feel like I'm gonna say the things that you said back to you.
I love that. Mira.
I just love the idea that you fully embodied in your life, experientially, but also just like bravely being yourself bravely being yourself so that your people can find you, so that other people can know that it's okay to be themselves, so that other people can do it, so that their people can find them, and doing it even when people are fucking telling you you're crazy and shit. Like, that's literally the hardest thing, like the thing that we're all terrified of, things that I have been terrified of, that people I know have been terrified of, people I've met have been terrified of. You did them. And you are like, no, but like freedom. Like, you know, so deeply, and that conviction of like, and you've met people like this, and I've met people like this, and you are one of that, where it's like, no, like the commitment to myself and to the freedom to like be is so much better than like whatever this like pretend like ghosts and fears, and like those are real, like emotions are real. And I love how validating you are, because like honestly, Jess, if I would have had the like journey that you've had, I'd probably still be in a mental institution, because like, you don't get it, I'm Jesus. I'm fucking Jesus. You don't understand. You guys don't get it. Or the Ram Dass thing that I sent you that was like, well, my cousin went to the mental institution because he believes he's Jesus but doesn't believe that anybody else is. And you were given that gift and you passed. Like an ultimate test, a test of like, do you believe that everyone is a miracle? And you were like, yeah, duh. Like no, literally no, like no doubt, no, like you were just literally like, yeah, duh. Me and everybody here is a living, breathing miracle. The fact that we exist at all is when many more things have never existed. And I'm so glad I got mad at you that one time. I'm so glad I got so many of my friendships are, I'm so glad I got mad at you that one time. And you are a shining example of, I'm so glad I told you that I was mad at you that one time so that we could actually be friends. Because you're doing it like so much. You're Rocky. You're running up the steps. You're Rocky. And I love it. And I get to be right there.
Right fucking saving grace. How dare you feed my ego so much delicious things? No. No, thank you. I love you. And I'm just so... Thank you for seeing me. Thank you for like loving me through. Like, there are people who could absolutely take what I went through and weaponize it as gossip and making it like, isn't she nuts, you know? And you didn't. You held me and you continue to hold me. And exactly, just evidence, if you weren't here on the episode, anyone, we literally fought was like, we were friends, but then the catalyst into us becoming like real friends was her voicing a frustration. And so it just goes to show, reward people,
vulnerability.
Okay. I always feel like talking about my problems is complaining about small things. Oh, no.
Just as like, fuck you.
One, you are everyone. And all of your small issues are everyone's small issues.
Yeah.
And we don't talk about them because they're like, I should be able to figure this out. And it's like, yeah, but all of us are dealing with it. Like, anything that you could ever say, I promise, shine your light, Minecraft.
And there's always someone like, there's someone who will hold space for you. There are people who are there to like, there have been people who have like messaged me, like they've asked me if they could text me, and we texted, and we're not like friends, but I know them from the internet, and they asked me if we could have a text exchange because they needed somebody to give them something. And it wasn't like, obviously it wasn't like they're texting me all the time, but it was like one conversation that they saw me and they saw my presence and they were like, I need to talk to you. I don't know why, but I need to talk to you. And we talked, and it's like, yeah, that's what we're all here to do for each other. And it's hard. I feel the same way. Like, I'm not going to talk about my problems because I don't want anybody to know that I've ever had a problem my whole life. But it's like, no, man, like you can even it sucks. It is hard because you don't want anybody.
Talk to you about it when I have it figured out, so I'm not a burden.
That's my biggest issue. I love talking about it only when I've gotten over it and it's no longer bothering me.
Right.
But it
You'll
is.
be shown you can be a burden one way or another. You can do it light or you can do it heavy.
I want to do. Maybe I should make a T-shirt that just says "Love to be a burden."
Yeah,
love to be a burden. Can I burden you? Might I burden you?
Okay. Well, feel free to chime in or message us or save it. You follow your
Yeah,
gut.
Minecraft. If you wanna send me something and I can give you a pep talk too, I'd be happy to.
Word. Anytime, any place, no judgment, no pressure. Just know it's always welcome, no matter how like lame you could imagine it is. It's not.
And we're giving pep talks.
Or minuscule, rather.
Yeah.
Until then, I have a pep talk. Let's see. Let's get it brewing. Carly. Like, it's so insane. Like, the weight of the words. Like, do you see, even in my body, it's just like, I mean this so much. It's like, physically, like, building is weight. First of all, I'm so grateful that the life that you had that led you to be who you are today, which is so courageous, fearless, and at her best, unapologetic. And I know that comes on the back of being told time and time again, you're too much, you're too this, you're too that, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. And I think that's part of the gift that I think I mentioned before. Anyone who's anywhere in the margins, and the further into the margins you go, the more you're like, have an opportunity to be like, well, I am these things, so fuck you, I'm not gonna go die, you know. Whereas people who get pats on the head like, oh, very good, you're very well behaved, very well mannered, very pretty, very strong, very handsome, like, that's harder for you to stand in your true essence because you've been rewarded for being so small and pliable and maybe even like it and whatever. Well, if we've been in trouble a lot, or if we've been told that who we are inherently is wrong over and over and over again, at some point we have a little easier time of going, no, I'm not, or I am, but I don't care because it's me. And that's you. And I don't know what all came and what pain you had to endure to come out just like fucking living in such power, fire, and grounding energy. Like, it's just what you provide is honesty and safety. And what I'll say is, God, be compassionate to the person who is getting it wrong, because God bless that you know that it's not yet there and that it can be. You sense your potential and you're working it out. And instead of being like, oh, I'm messing it up, I'm getting it wrong, it's like, I changed the language to, I'm figuring it out. I'm getting better and better at this by the day. And wow, like, okay, this is an effort I put in and I don't really like it. And just kind of dance with yourself through it instead of like, right, wrong, zigzag. It's like, no, move, you know, because you can and you do and you are. And it's looking at, look at you in the moment that you're having regret. Look at you in the moment that you're having frustration and anger. How, like, love that freaking version of you that feels so deeply. Like, you feel remorse and want to do different. You feel regret, like, not because you're trying to be a martyr, but because you know, and like, woo, you're doing it and it's okay. You can beat yourself up. You can do all these things, but you also can love yourself through it. And you are every moment, even in these moments of failings and not getting it right, you're
I'm fucking it up.
right. You're hitting catalyst after catalyst, that you're busting out of cocoons all over the place and not giving yourself enough credit, that is for sure. And going through immense life changes, unearthing events without even thinking about them. Just kind of like, I guess my work.
I guess.
Well, why didn't I handle this confrontation perfectly?
Why didn't I do this the right way the exact first time that it was happening?
Yeah, embarrassing. I know.
Embarrassing. Oh my God, you read me for filth. I love you. Oh yeah.
I love you.
I love you. A blessing. A blessing to know ya, a blessing to love ya, a blessing to do this show with you.
Yes.
I love doing this show. I love doing this show
Me
with
too.
you.
I love that I found out 30 minutes before the show. That
So
it was
hilarious.
Today, and
Oh
I
my
had
God.
no
And then I was like,
anxiety.
shit, did I tell
I was
her
like,
it
oh,
was
great.
tomorrow? No, we're good. And then we did it.
There were shows
And this
where I
was
would like
so
sit myself
good.
and be like, this is a nightmare. And this, I was like, oh, I guess it's today in 30
Yeah,
minutes.
yeah. So us. No,
Gosh.
that's why I gotta do it with you, you know. We did it. Chat! That is another episode of The Spark. This was Self-Love Part 2. We did talk about self-love last time, but that's the sauce. That's the sauce that we're going through today. I appreciate all of you for coming and watching and contributing your beautiful minds and comments and just being yourselves. I love that you're being yourselves. Wow, this was awesome. Direct hits all over the place. See the fuzz! Baby Davey, Mario, Minecraft! Thank you all. Thank you all so much. This was a show on the Trident Network, our three-pronged digital entertainment network. We do YouTube stuff, we do podcasts, and we do these live shows. I'm C2. This is Jess Debacco. We're your hosts for The Spark. Trident is having a birthday party. We're having a birthday party on March 19th. March 19th is our birthday party, so keep it in your books. It's going to be right here on Twitch. We're streaming it on Twitch. We're planning it out right now. We're going to be here. But thank you for being yourselves. Thank you for being here with us. And we will see you next time. Love you.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye.